Welcome to Unpacked Radio, and this week we will be saluting my brothers in the military. For all those who say that black men don't serve, we're going to show you some strong black men who done served the Army, the Marines, the Air Force. We may even bring out the damn Navy on this show, but we damn sure going to show our brothers in arms some love and thank them for their service. My co-host will be arriving shortly, so we'll be back in 1 minute on Unpacked Radio. Salute to the military. Let's do this. Hey, welcome back to Unpacked Radio. As you see, my co-host DC Baddest is in the building, and we will be interviewing my favorite co-worker, Naressa Thomas. And we're going to be talking about the United States Marines and find out all about the Marines and the Marine birthday that's coming up soon. And that's a big day.
It's a great day.
Yeah, because they pretty much saved the Navy ass. So, Naressa, my first question is why... The Marines were created pretty much co-hosts of the Navy because the Navy couldn't get stuff done on land. So they needed to create some badasses to go on land and handle some business.
I don't know if we was created to, co-host, but, more like a special section, special unit that gets stuff done. When the war breaks out, the Marines go in before anybody. That's what we basically built for. When Marines go to boot camp, whether you're a cook, whether you're admin, whether you're a grunt, you all train the same. Everybody trains as an infantry soldier in boot camp. Boot camp lasts an extra month longer than everybody else's. And after boot camp, you go to what we call MCT, which is Marine Combat Training, which is basically another phase of boot camp. So you do about 4 months before you even go to your schooling. So it's a little different mindset. We look at things a little differently, and we can be a little crazy at times, but it's part of what we have to be to do what we need to do.
Now, I don't know if y'all watch the comedy skits. The Marine is always the crazy drunk in the bar, and next to him is the Special Forces guy. But Naressa, my question is, what brought you to be in the Marine? Why did you join? Do you have family members who served, or are you the first person in your family that served?
I don't know much about my father's side, so I can't say for sure. I did find out I did have a cousin that was in the Marines, but I just feel like as a young black male, if you don't have any kind of game plan in life, if you're just going to graduate high school and just kick it around the way, why not look at the military? It's an opportunity for you to see the world, to grow, to mature in a positive environment, as opposed to just hanging around the hood. When you're sitting around the block, trouble finds you. So my thing, that's how I looked at it. I knew I didn't really want to go to college because I didn't want to waste nobody's money, especially mine, if I didn't have it, which I didn't. So I was like, let me talk to the recruiter. The Marine Corps recruiter talked to me first. So that's who I talked to. I have a twin. He didn't graduate on time, so he went in the Army. And then I have a lot of family,
I'm sorry, twin?
Yeah, identical twin brother.
Did you guys go in at the same time?
We were supposed to. We were supposed to go on the buddy program. But he didn't graduate on time. And my mother was like, you still going. She was like, you're not finna stay around here and hang for a year and get in trouble. So
was his thing to always go to the Army, or were you?
I think we was both talking about Marines, but when he didn't go, I just went, and then the Army recruiter, snuck in, and yeah. So, because recruiting is a whole nother monster in itself. Them dudes have to meet quotas every month, and they go hard. And that's a big deal if you don't make your quota. Right. So, but I just feel like if you don't have nothing really planned out, why not? I talk to people all the time about it because, it's you got to do something. You got to figure out something in life, and time don't wait for nobody.
All right. Explain to those of us who ain't been through the torment, what is boot camp like?
I mean, Marine Corps boot camp. I came off the island.
Look at Army over there looking at you.
Army
over there got a smirk.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, because everybody else
the tension in the room.
It's a little bit of a vacation compared to Marine boot camp. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know the Air Force, they get smoke breaks and everything, but the Marine Corps, I came off that island, Paris Island. On that island, it's a real island in South Carolina. You have to go across a bridge, which is about 30 minutes, 45-minute drive.
Oh wow! So that means you can't get off unless
Yeah, people
you,
don't die trying to get off. Marines that try to, couldn't handle it, try to swim and died.
Really?
Yeah, it's an island.
Why we don't hear about stuff like that?
Why would you need to hear about it? You got to earn that right.
I'm just saying we would hear about things. We hear about everything else that people's trying to cross the border, dying to get to, the States.
I mean, the
Why
military is a different breed anyway. It's just.
I never knew that it was an island.
It's an island.
And then two, people are dying trying to
I
get
mean,
off.
people die in boot camp, in all boot camps, if you don't do the drills right. They'll fire, you shoot the rifle. If you shoot the wrong way, you might shoot somebody. They'll humps, you do 50-mile humps, stuff like that. If you don't do that right, you might die of heat exhaustion. It depends on what time you go. I went in the summertime. So with us, it was, they had this thing called the silver bullet, where because if you pass out in the summertime in the Paris Island, 90 degrees every day, they have to get your core temperature. So they don't do a thermometer in your mouth. They do a long thermometer through something else. And they do it right there on the spot because they have to figure out,
What's wrong?
what's wrong. So I got lucky, but I didn't see that. I saw it once at the end of boot camp.
Oh, wow.
But, I mean, Paris Island, sand fleas, bugs, all that stuff.
I never knew that it was
Oh, yeah. They used to have this thing called a pit. It was a big sandbox. So if the drill instructor got mad at you, he put you in the pit. And he didn't put you by yourself. He put the whole platoon in there. So if you're doing drills like you doing leg lifts, you got somebody in front of you kicking sand up. You got somebody behind you kicking sand up. So it's all in your clothes. You might be in your PT gear with your shorts and the T-shirt. You might be in your camis. But, depends on how mad he is. He might keep you in there 5 minutes, maybe in there 20 minutes. We had a couple of drills. We had one drill instructor. He was a little off, and he was trying to
mentally.
Yeah, he was a little crazy, but he was trying to. In Paris Island, you can't PT under certain heat conditions.
PT.
Physical training.
Got you.
So you have green flag, yellow flag, red flag, black flag. So it depends on what the flag is. Every day they lift a flag up telling you how hot it is. Green, you can do whatever. Yellow, you can do it under cautions. Red, they don't want you to do nothing. Black, you don't supposed to do nothing. Well, this drill instructor got mad at us for something. We weren't marching right or something, but it was a black flag day. But he was trying to take us to PT, and a warrant officer who wasn't even part of the boot camp stopped him. Because he was finna, people was sweating walking to go PT. We was sweating already profusely just to go get to the point to PT. They'd be a little off. He was cussing us out the whole time, but that's boot camp.
Now, Naressa, what was your MOS?
0151.
And what is that?
That's admin.
You was an admin.
Admin.
Okay, y'all break this terminology down for the
Okay,
people who don't understand.
for the civilians out there, what is an MOS?
MOS is military occupational skill. I don't know if they call that the same thing in all the branches, but that's what it is.
Military
Marines don't have a lot of diversity as far as MOSs go. Probably the Army has the most. They have pretty much everything. Navy, you're on that boat, so a lot of that stuff deal with being on the boat. Mm-hmm. Or a lot of the hospitals are Navy people. Most of the hospital consists of pretty much primarily Navy. And Air Force, they just chill.
So, I have a question. Do you regret?
Absolutely not.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, she didn't get out. What was your question? Was it, do you regret serving?
Going to not serving? I'll ask that in a
not.
moment. But did you regret going to the Marines versus
Absolutely
any other?
not.
Okay, that's what's up.
Because when I say Marines, people look a different way at me.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Every time.
That's mental for me.
I mean, I don't regret either one.
All Marines are different.
The service it was a great experience. I mean, it's like anything else. It has good and bad points, but
right.
I met a lot of people. I have a lot of lifelong friends that, like I just talked to my godbrother. We met really through the military.
Okay.
I just talked to a friend of mine today. He's like, you need to come to Florida and hang out. But we met on the third day of boot camp back in 1994, and we still are friends. Our kids know each other. So he's like a brother to me, and that's family. I deal more with my military family than I do with my own family.
Right. Because you were around them most of the time, correct?
Well, yeah, but they all over.
Right.
They all over. That's why, I got people in Texas, California, You know,
Well,
Atlanta, Florida, just military friends.
You
family.
saying that about your guy friends. Me being a female, what was the ratio for men in the Marines versus women in the Marines?
That's a great question.
It's a small. I think it's a small rate. The Marines are very small anyway. What people don't realize is compared to other branches, we are very small.
Really?
Yes, because we haven't been in existence as long as the Army and the Air Force and the Navy. They were around quite a bit of time before we even came into existence.
I told you, Foxy, the Navy, my good Navy, which well, I was gonna be a SWID. That's what they call people in the Navy, a SWID. The craziest term ever. They had to invent some ass kickers to go on land and kick some ass, some war dogs, some crazy mofos who, got a little shrews loose. Now, Naressa, for me, explain the brotherhood to people of being in the military. Explain the pride, the honor.
Well, we know that everybody, no matter what branch you in, went through something to get to that point. No boot camp is easy. No boot camp is a walk. We mess with each other. Like we'll say your boot camp was easy and mine's longer, or you ain't have. But no boot camp is a walk in the park. And people drop out all the time, no matter what branch it is. So to get to that point, it's a certain amount of respect that we have for each other, because you earn that. A lot of things in life you don't really earn. People give you get lucky, get a break. But in any branch of the military, when you go in and go through that boot camp and graduate, you have earned that. Nobody can take that away from you. Nobody can say you didn't deserve it, because it's something that you earned on your own. The Marine Corps, we look at it like that. We treat each other a little bit more because we Marines. Same thing Army do, same thing Navy do, same thing Air Force do. But the one thing about it is nobody can take the fact that you went somewhere and took the time and went through whatever trials and tribulations you had to go through to earn that stripe, to earn that category, to earn that name. It's a hard thing to do.
Now, you brought a special guest with you. Introduce your special guest.
My special guest is my god brother, Antoine Thomas. And the funny thing is, my brother met him first in Germany because they were in the Army together. You know, he's a good guy, man. He actually is somebody to admire. He done a lot. He was in the Army. He's in the Air Force now. He's EOD. So for you all don't understand what EOD is, that's explosive ordnance, correct? So he's the guy that goes in and basically disarm the bomb. When you see those movies where the guy you see the movie, they send that unit in and they all in all that gear and they clipping the red wire, he clips the red wire.
All right.
Wow.
We'll be right back with him and bring the rest up later for our special panel.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Stands, please. Welcome back to Unpacked Radio. I'm your host, Norris the Pope Johnson, and we are saluting our brothers in the military.
Thank you.
We got Mr. Army coming up. You know, we got a little military beef going on, so Mr. Army going to tell us all about himself, introduce himself, and we're going to find out all about his job in the Army. Good sir, slide the mic up to your mask and really project your voice. Who are you? Why should... And thank you first and foremost for your service. But who are you?
Absolutely.
No, I appreciate your support. I really, really do. My name is Antoine Thomas. I did 12 years active duty in the Army, as Naressa said, as a EOD, Explosive Ordnance Disposal, and I've done the last 15 years in the Air Force Reserves as EOD as well.
We're sideline stuff.
Oh, it's all good.
But we're listening. We're listening.
It's all good. It's all good.
So my first question to you is, you are the very first person that I've ever heard to do both. Is that
Two
a
services?
norm? Yeah, is that a norm? Do people normally jump out of one and go into the other?
It happens more often than you think it does. And what happens is, in my particular situation, I had a particular skill. You know, what's Liam Neeson? You know, like I got skills. You know,
Right.
You know, anyway. But
That's the Taken man, right? Liam Neeson. That's what you're talking about.
yeah, but we can't claim him no more because he had
Yeah,
issues.
he got little racial issues. He wanted to kill a black man.
Okay,
Any black
okay.
man he found in a dark, dirty alley, I was going to kill that black bastard. That's what he said, and I quote.
Okay, I must.
But no, so EOD is one of those schools. It's a forest service sort of school. So Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, everybody goes to the same school for EOD. So when it was time for me to get off active duty for the Army, I had about maybe a month or so of a break, and then 9/11 happened. And I felt the tug. Like Narissa said, it's a calling. When you're in the military, these are things you're very patriotic. These are things that are ingrained in you. And so 9/11 happened. I was like, well, I want to go back in. I want to do something. But I got smart. I said, I spent my time in the Army. Let me go see what the Air Force is about. And it's the same job, same school, same skill. When I went to my tech school, which down at Eglin Air Force Base, all 4 services were there anyway, right? And so I was able to transition from the Army into the Air Force right away without any additional training or anything like that.
So I have 2 questions. One, when you said 9/11, it struck a nerve in me because that's a very patriotic, day for kind of everyone. However, how does it hit you guys? I know it have to hit you kind of different from a regular civilian. Did you, like you said, you wanted to just jump back in and?
Right. I felt a tug. I felt the pull, the call of service. Of being able to do something. You were there. We all felt helpless.
Yes.
That day, that moment. I think everybody can sit back and think about and remember where they were, what they were doing. If you're of age, can remember
Right.
where you were
Right.
on 9/11.
Yes.
Right. And so on that day, at that time, I knew that I could provide something. I know that I could, be a force multiplier. I could do things. So I decided to join. I had begun my civilian life at that time, and so I went into the reserves. As an Air Force EOD guy, and so that's where I was, and I was able to provide help from there. And since I was there, over time, it just sort of grew, and then I just stayed along with it for the last 15 years or so.
So my second question to you is, being as though we're in a state that we're in this crazy pandemic, and the way that things have gone as far as our medical insurance, as far as our veterans. Right now, I know for a fact that there are a lot of homeless veterans.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of veterans that can't get insurance. And have you yourself personally, been affected by any of those situations, or know anyone affected by it? And then if you did, were you able to get help? Like, is it easy to get help for situations like that?
Well, I say for veterans, the VA administration, and this may sound like a commercial or so, but the VA administration is very, very strong. If you're a veteran and you want help, you can get help. Now, don't get me wrong. There's been a lot of problems, over the years with the VA and the way that they administer things, and they've been working on it over the last few years. The last 4 years or so, it's been up and down, different things. But if you're a veteran and you want help, you can get help. It's available for you. It's there. It's a matter of being able to get out to the VA clinics and talking to someone who can help you. But you can get help if you want it.
That's good to know for myself, because I know a lot of people that I do know that are in certain situations, under certain circumstances, will always say, I can't get any help. It's no help for the veterans. I'll go and I'll apply and I can't hear anything back, or it's just, hands up, I surrender, just forget it, and they in situations that they find themselves in. And I just find it to be such a sad situation for someone to go and serve, knowingly that you can go and give your life for your country that won't give you health insurance.
Yeah. So there's a bureaucracy. So that is the main reason why I stayed in the reserves, right? Is because you look at once you retire, you get what's called TRICARE for life. That's a whole different thing. As a retiree, you're entitled to a lot of benefits, certain benefits.
Okay.
That's why I stay in the reserves.
Okay.
That's why I'm looking to get towards retirement. But that being said, there's a lot of bureaucracy out there. But if you stay with it, and a lot of times the folks, the veterans who are unable to get help, or where help seems like it's sparse, is because a lot of times there are other issues as well that are on top of it. But if you are a guy or gal, I would entreat you to go and go to the VA clinics, go to and you can get help. There is help there for you. There is a lot of bureaucracy. Yeah, that's true. Just like anything else, you're going to have to push through and work through
Right.
a lot of the problems that are there. But for the most part, what I found is that you can't. My brother-in-law, he's a veteran as well. He's a Marine, and his entire healthcare system is based off VA, right? He doesn't pay anything for medical, but he goes to the VA, and that's where he gets his assistance in that way.
All right, sir, my final question before we bring you up for our panel. Can you explain to the people, from your own point of view, the honor of serving the military as a black man?
Yeah, and so it's tough to love a country that don't love you back a lot of times, right?
Say it again.
And so, and don't get me wrong, there's been black men throughout the history of this country who served. First, in fact, the very first shot that was during our independence
Was a black person.
was a black person.
Christopher Addicts.
Christopher Addicts.
Yes.
Yeah. Crispus Addicts. Yep.
Yeah.
And so
All
we.
right, you know your history.
Photographic memory, my love. Photographic memory is
Somebody
all
know
up
their
here.
history. That's
We-
what's up.
We've been there from the beginning. We've always served. We've always done our part, and a lot of times it's the country catching up to giving back to us what we give to them, right? And so it's not lost on me at all. But at the same time, I do believe that if we really want to be a part of this American dream, we have to continue to do the things that we've done over, the last, 200 plus years that this country has been there, which is continue to serve. And just like in a relationship, it's about, giving and taking. A lot of times you have to give 51% in your relationship, right? Always. And it's the same thing with this country. We have to be willing to give more than we ultimately get back, because that's a part of the American dream. That's a part of who we are as a nation, as a country,
So, you mind me asking you another
Sure.
question? Okay, so given your experiences that you have experienced, both different services, would you, at this present time, I don't know what age you went in, would you recommend? I have a 17-year-old and I have a 10-year-old son. I have daughters too, but they're not interested in the military. But Air Force, would you recommend the 17-year-old to? I apologize about that. Would you recommend the 17-year-old to join? Is it something right now for them to jump into?
Like Naressa said, if you have a plan for your life, which is, if you know that you want to go to college to be a lawyer or a doctor or something like that, follow your plans, right? For some people, their plan is to join the military, and that's fine too. But if you don't have a plan, the military is a great place to go and, get a jump start in life. Because one of two things is going to happen. Either you're going to get there and you're going to realize that this ain't for me, and nobody, once you leave home, nobody wants to go back home. So once you get out your house and you get into the military, you will figure out, okay, I'm going to continue. Or the other option is you get in there and you realize that, hey, I like this. This is something I can do. And you make it a career potentially, and you can build off of that. So I would say that I would recommend it, joining the military. I would recommend going in and doing your civic duty, and then make an adjustment from there. There's lots of opportunity. There's lots of things that grow from it. This is not the 60s. This is not, the Vietnam time. This is an entirely different situation. Most times now, in order to join the military and progress in the military, you've got to educate yourself. You can't get promoted in the Air Force without education. You can't get promoted in the Army without education. Marines, if you can eat crayons well, then
It's chalk, sir. It's chalk. And on that note, we're going to take a short break and bring up our next veteran. We got the beef going on. We got Army. We got the Marines. We got the Air Force. We're going to bring the Coast Guard out. This is a salute to our veterans. And as you can see, the beef sometimes get real. All right, we'll be back in 1 minute. Salute.
Hello. We are back with our host.
No, this is a team effort. You know, sometimes the ship may
But you gotta
tip
give
over
honor
to
to
the
what
left.
honor is due. This is how it all got started. This is the Pope right here, Mr. Norris Johnson, and I am the co-host, DC's Baddest. And we have with us today a veteran, and his name is Michael Gardner. Shout out to those Gardners.
Yes.
And he was in the Army.
Uh-huh.
Yes. And we're going to let him give a tidbit of his story.
Well, I dropped out of college, thought I had a plan. My daddy had told me I had a good plan, but needed a new place to stay.
Oh.
Yeah, so the Army was ready.
Okay.
Had a handout. I had 2 weeks to make a plan, and 8 days into it, I went down and signed up, came back. He said, hey, what's your plan? Well, I think I'm going to go into the Army. He said, when do you ship out? I know you already signed the papers. And I left the next day. Started that journey. Boot camp for me was amazing.
Really?
It was amazing. I enjoyed every minute of it. I'd do it again. I feel like maybe we had it easy. I went through boot camp at Fort Jackson. And we were the first group to start this, some kind of new flagship program. We did the first 13 weeks of boot camp for the Army, which we were doing 9 weeks previously. So we did our 13 weeks. Had a lot of extra special training that all seemed to be built around camaraderie. And again, when I tell you we had a blast, we had a blast. I was stationed in Korea. I was super young. Korea is not the place you want to be in the Army when you're super, super young. There's a lot of trouble to get into, and I found all of it. Yeah.
How old were you?
I got in at 18, 19.
18?
Mhm.
Oh, okay, yes.
Just before my 19th birthday, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was rough for me. They didn't care how young you were to drink, so I was over there. Man. Yeah. It's a good thing when you're disciplined.
You said all branches?
Oh, no. Man, it was rough.
Oh, wow.
Boy, it was rough. I went out. Y'all heard about the Juicy Bars?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So
Nope.
I found out while I was over there in Korea that the Juicy Bars, the girls in the Juicy Bars, they were bought. And that kind of messed with my head a little bit. So I got into a whole lot of extra trouble out there fighting Ajimas, trying to steal passports to get these girls to go back home. Hit the National Blotter Report 27 times over there. So by the end of my 4 years, they were like, yeah, re-enlistment? Nah, first 4, I'm done. Time to go home. And my experience was a little different.
So when you say bought, you mean like taken? We going back to taken again.
Yeah,
That taken bought?
They were bought, yeah. Like these guys go to the Philippines and they go to the poor families, the farmers that got a lot of kids, and they'll buy one of their older daughters and give them all this money to take care of them and make all these promises. We'll put them through school and they'll be able to get good jobs and pay us back and then take care of the family. They throw them into these bars. And you got to buy drinks. You got to make the house money with drinks. Buy the girl a drink, costs her $20. She sit with you for 20 minutes. Drink is this. Ain't no alcohol. You just buying the time. Keep buying the time, buying the time, buying the time. The girls don't make no money off of it. There's a lot of soldiers here in the States right now with Filipino wives that they bought in Korea.
Oh, you know, that's interesting.
Now, why did you make it your mission to try to save these women? Because that's very interesting.
Because I'm a black man whose family in the past were slaves. And for me to go down there and try and have a good time and realize that I'm hanging out with slaves who are working on their day job, like, that tore me up.
Because I'm pretty sure most people took part in the slavery.
A lot of people did.
A lot of brothers, took
A
part
lot
in
of people
that. So
did.
that's very amazing that you took it
Yeah,
upon
it
yourself to try to save as many people as you could.
It's actually part of the reason that the military was ready for me to go.
Really?
My story was a little bit different.
Please get into more
It
details.
is different. You said you enjoy boot camp.
I got
That-
chain of
you can
command. My chain of command in Korea has Filipino wives that they got from the Juicy Bars. And the only way to get one of them from the Juicy Bars is to buy out their contract, including buying their passport, which they have no access to.
Yeah, you keep the passport to keep them hostage.
So if the military is actually giving you a military wedding for this Filipino wife, that means they know you bought this woman. They cool with it.
A lot of people have been exposing the dirty, dark secrets of, I want to say, slavery and sex trafficking in the military. And you sound like you experienced some of that. So please get into as many details as possible for the people at home.
There are so many bars, and they're literally right off base, walking distance, to make sure that the GIs have access. If you want to take a girl out for the night, like you want to have sex with her, you got to pay her a certain amount. However the house thinks she might have done that night, you got to pay that for that night. And they'll let you take her upstairs. If you pay enough, pay a little extra, they'll let you take her out for the weekend. But then you got to bring her back, and if not, they come looking for you on base. And the fact that they're allowed on base to come and look for you, an American, because you're out there doing the same thing that they're there for, your chain of command knows, they come let you know, oh, you got some people looking for you at the gate. And I know this because all the trouble that I got into on the blotter report, my punishment had me on the gate.
Wow.
Gate guard duty. Get up in the morning, reveille, get the flag up, shoot that cannon, blew my damn ear out. Think I get anything for that shit? Nothing. Excuse my language.
So you were
We on
reprimanded
Uncensored
for
Radio. You good, bro?
All right. Excuse me.
that. So you were reprimanded for.
I was reprimanded for everything. And if they couldn't reprimand me for something that I did on the street, they would reprimand me for holding the flag wrong, showing up late for formation, which I wasn't allowed to be late because they made me the guidon bearer.
Okay.
Yeah, so by the end of it, they didn't have no flag.
Wow.
Because I just stopped showing up. It was time for me to go.
Wow.
That is deep. Michael, first and foremost, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
And second and foremost,
I wish I could say my
thank
pleasure.
you for having the balls to fight the system.
Man,
Before you go, because we got one more coming behind you, and we're going to have to try to do a panel as well, explain to the people at home what it means to you to have that type of brotherhood.
the brotherhood is why I would go through all of that again. The things that you're able to talk to your brothers once you've gotten out, I didn't get out the right way, and my brothers still love me, and I still love my brothers. They still reach out, look out, see how I'm doing, because quite honestly, I'm one of those thousands who got the shit into the stick. So the brotherhood still makes it worth it. The good times were the good times. The bad times were what they were. It's a part of the process. It's everybody has them. You just have them in different ways. But the brotherhood is what makes it worth it. That means the world to me.
That's what's up.
Brother, thank you again for your service.
Thank
My
you.
man.
Thank you.
We'll be back in 1 minute. Salute.
We're gonna go with Jay. We're gonna go
Welcome
with Jay
back
today.
to Unpacked Radio. I'm your host, Norris the Pope Johnson. I got with me DC Baddest. And I got my guy, my right-hand guy, Jay Will.
My man.
Good
Listen,
co-worker, good friend, and the craziest dude alive.
do I look crazy? I don't look crazy.
I don't know
Gotta
what
show
crazy
some
look
love.
like.
I
don't
got some
think I have a
stories.
look these days.
I got some stories. But at the end of the day, man, please tell us how you got into the military. Tell us what led you to that military path, because you were an MP, right?
I was a 95 Charlie, which is a correctionals officer. But being a correctional officer, I also worked the road too. But the way I got into the military was, I was a badass. Can I use that language on
This
your
is
show?
Uncensored Radio.
Okay.
Network.
All right. I just gotta make sure. I just gotta make sure.
cussing on this
You
show.
know what I mean?
Trust me.
I'm badass. I was a fuck up. All right. I'm a clay tourist, baby. All right.
Okay.
So it was either go to hell, go to jail, or go to the service. I wasn't gonna waste my money like I think one of my brothers said earlier. to go to college because college was going to be a waste of time. All I was going to do was party and get with the fine honeys.
Bless your heart.
You know, man, but I went to the service, and like I said, or like they said, it was it's good and bad. It breaks you down, builds you up, turn you into a positive person, but they break you all the way down. Now, if you can't handle the all the way, getting broken all the way down, you'll be in trouble. Because I've seen a lot of brothers that once they are broken down, they don't know how to recover. And people don't talk about that.
Right.
See, I talk about something real with the military. And it's kind of like you being incarcerated. You do good for them, they're going to send you back out, they're going to hook you up. You do bad for them, you ain't nothing but a number.
Now explain that, what you mean by that. Go into as many details as possible.
All right. When you're incarcerated, you ain't nothing but a number, right?
Mm-hmm.
You do your time, they lock you behind the goddamn wall, they put you in a cage, and they say, all right, your time up, I see you when I see you. They don't give you no programming, okay? The military does you the same way. You can do 20 years and get taken care of. You can get injured and get a medical discharge and get taken care of. You can be a yes boy soldier and get taken care of. But see, a lot of people don't like to talk about this. Or you can be somebody who needs help, that needs to be molded, needed to be groomed. And if you're not groomed in the way they want you to be groomed, guess what you are? You a number. See you later. We don't have nothing to offer for you.
That's interesting. DC, you have a question for Jay Well.
So your takeaway from it for you was what? What was your because you sound like you have so much to on the mental side of it versus the everything else that I was given tonight. So what has it done for you for your mental? How do you look at the military differently, and how would you refer my son, you, not them, but you would refer my son if you had to the military?
I'm telling you straight up. You know what I mean? It's all about your mindset. All right? If you're weak-minded, don't go. All right? I know a dude who was weak-minded. He was all TC all through high school. He was superstar, all TC dude. All right? You know what this dude do now? That Bama low crawl from goddamn going, fuck that. We on Uncut Radio. He low crawl from fucking goddamn Fort Washington to Eastover and back. Okay? If you don't have the mindset to be in the military, you don't need to go. Okay? It's all about what you want to do with yourself and all about your mindset. Are you able to actually obtain and observe and actually use this stuff to bring it out into civilian life? Because the military, once they're done with you, they're going to send you to civilian life. Okay? So if you can't overcome and adapt to it, it's more or less like, okay, you're a peon that fell off, I see you when I see you.
So does that have anything to do with, I hear a lot of people say, watch out for this dude, watch out for that dude because he has, what is it, PTSD? Does that have a lot to do with it too? Does that have anything to do with the mentality of it, or everything to do with the mentality?
Keep it real.
Correct?
PTSD is, if I'm keeping it real, PTSD is what that soldier actually seen, witnessed, and dealt with. Okay? So, if the soldier ain't never seen nothing, he ain't gonna have no PTSD. That soldier go to combat, he may have PTSD. I give you a prime example. My man, hell with it, fuck it. He ended up shooting a pregnant lady, killing her and the fucking baby.
Wow.
Okay? All right? But that was because the commander told him to do that, because he gave the green light, anything run checkpoint, you shoot him. He ended up getting the short side. But do he have PTSD? PTSD? Yes, he do. He done killed an innocent lady and her child because of what the commander said, but shit rolls downhill. All right? So when shit rolls downhill, he ended up doing 3 months in prison. But if you kill anybody out here in the streets, who's doing 3 months in prison? And then want them to come back to the unit. Let's go. Let's talk about it. The radio comm said it, but I'm not getting into all that.
Right.
You understand? But it's real. So you have to have the mindset to join the military, be it the Army, the Navy, the Marines, or the Air Force. And, oh, I'm sorry. We ain't never mentioned the fifth, Coast Guard. There
What
you
we
go.
call Uncle Sam Yacht Club.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But the Coast Guard is also part of the military, so
never
thank
knew
you
that.
for your service. You know what I mean? We're doing this veteran day thing. But
Wow.
it's real.
Now, J. Will, before we bring you back up for the panel, because I do have some questions about how real it get, but I want to ask the whole panel about what they actually seen in the sand. Briefly explain to people what does it mean to have that type of brotherhood with someone.
The brotherhood is great. I'm not going to put this guy's name out here, but I'm going to tell you. I'm going to just give you one example. Over in Germany, Dave was talking about Germany early. Over in Germany, your break-in is you got to go to red light district, blue light district. All right? There's some freaky stuff right here. All right? If you're a grown-ass man, you don't go to the blue light. You go to red light, though. If you go to blue light, something wrong with you. You got a little sugar in your tank. But we take the guys to the red light district. I got one of my guys totally twisted. He busted his face coming out the car. Ended up being put on the carpet. All right? And for anybody who's military, they know what the carpet is. You know, he had to do a couple days extra duty, whatever, because he missed work. But that dude right there, till this day, is one of my best friends. You understand what I'm saying? And you have bonds like that. You have great bonds and you have horrible bonds. All right? You got guys from West Virginia that just racist. Then you have guys from, I want to say the guy was from somewhere, he was in the mountains somewhere. He was from in the mountains. And the guy told me straight up, we was in basic training, follow me for Benny. I got to put that out there. That's where my basic training was, real basic training. All right? All right?
The beef is about to start,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we're going to be back with
But-
our panel. Hold that thought in 1 minute. Welcome back to Unpacked Radio. As you can see, we still got all our veterans, and we're going to ask them some fire shots. We're going to shoot some shots at them real quick answers, quick questions. My first question is, have you ever lost a buddy or seen someone literally die in front of your eyes to all our veterans? That's my first question.
I have. And I'm going to tell you, when I was in combat, I haven't. But I had a guy on the fat boy program. And literally, they ran him to death.
Oh yeah. For me, I lost a good friend of mine who was disarming a bomb, disarming an IED in Iraq. I'm sorry, in Afghanistan. And,
I'll bring it up, brother, so we can really.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You good? All right. Yeah, I lost a guy who was disarming an IED in Afghanistan.
Jesus.
Okay, Naressa.
I didn't lose anybody. I had a friend that basically, we went to, actually when we was in MOS school, we went home to Atlanta. And when I got ready to come back, he didn't come back with me. He couldn't figure out what was going on. Well, later on, we found out he had got in a car wreck and he had broke his neck. So he had the halo on. So I would go see him every day, and but he got discharged. I don't know if he ever could walk again. I'm not sure whether he could walk again, but that's close as I came to it.
DC, do you have a question?
Well, I got an answer from Mr.
Thomas?
Already, he said he had no regrets. So that would be my question to the rest of you guys. Do you have any regrets for your decision in making and going into the services?
As far as regrets, no. What I will say is this: I don't recommend it for everybody because if your mind ain't strong, it's not the place for you. You understand what I'm saying? The military will break you down and break you if you're not ready for it. Regrets, no. You know what I mean? I see the good and bad of everything, so you know what I mean? It broke me down and made me the man I am now.
Oh, that's what's up.
You can't have any regrets because everything who you are is predicated upon the decisions that you make in your life. You know, so everything that happened before now, I wouldn't be me if I didn't make the decisions that I made yesterday, and I won't be the person I want to be tomorrow, other than the decisions I make today. So you can't regret that.
Absolutely.
Now, my question is, next question, while we really getting deep into it, explain to the people who think that everybody in a uniform is a hate soldier, the pride of just serving your community and being a good person. Because everybody like to say, you know what I mean, the Army, the police, everybody is serving white supremacy now, and we're all going to come to our neighborhoods and beat our own people over top of the head because whoever may be president said so. But do you follow orders without questions, or do you follow orders because sometimes it's necessary, or do you just know that some orders may be bullshit?
Let me break this down to you.
Yeah,
All right? When you're in the military, you don't belong to yourself. You belong to the president. If that man would say, go kill everybody in Tennessee, you got to go kill everybody in Tennessee. Is it right? No, it's not right. Okay? I keep it real. I keep it 1,000. I don't play around. Will I do it? No. If my people's in that state, or period, I'm not going to kill any innocent people. If it's in, you know what I mean? But you don't belong to yourself once you're in the military. All right? And that's what a lot of people got to realize. As far as this law enforcement thing, law enforcement to me, you got good cops, you got bad cops. But one bad apple will make the whole bunch seem like they bad.
But that's two different things, though. Like, law enforcement and the military are two different things.
Exactly.
In the military, your president is your ultimate leader. I mean, I'm a common sense person, so I ain't gonna do anything. You
Right,
ain't gonna
it's
have
stupid.
You ain't gonna tell me go pick up, sweep the sidewalk because you feel like it should be swept. I gotta understand what's going on.
Right.
But I mean, you signed up for this to a certain extent. Let's be real now. Everybody that goes in the military, the mindset is you should prepare yourself to understand that if a war happens, you may go to war.
Right.
Period.
Unfortunately, gentlemen, we're going to have to wrap this up.
Well, before you though, I do have to disagree just a little bit. There is
Make
such,
it real brief.
real quick. There is a such thing as a legal order. You are morally and legally obligated to disobey a legal order.
Yeah, now the legal
Hold
order,
on,
that's something
so we're going to have to
different.
leave there and may have to come back with a part two. Unfortunately, we literally had to wrap it up. So I know people want to give shout outs to their family and friends. So real briefly, who would you like to shout out? Where can people find you at if they want to join up and all that other good stuff?
I mean, I just want to shout out all my military family. My brother from boot camp, Jamar, my nephew, Corey, who's in Camp Pendleton right now, my brother, Dedrick Thomas, my other nephew, Jordan Thomas, who's in the Marine Corps at Cherry Point right now, my brother, Antoine, his wife, Jaretha, who's a veteran, my cousin, Danny Shack, who's in the Navy. He's on the island right now. I just got a lot of family. My cousin, Kareem Daniels, his son's in the Army. We a military family on the low, so.
Good
Respect.
Sir. Anybody who would like to
Respect.
salute?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my godson, Derek, my best friend Derek, and his son Matthew Marlin. He's a correctional officer in the Army right now at Fort Leavenworth.
My man.
Okay,
my
Jay
man.
Well, would you like to say hello to anybody?
I ain't saying hello to anybody. I'm saying hello to everybody. You know who I am. You know if you serve with me. One love, one respect.
DC, before we go,
I
you have
do. My
anything
best
closing?
friend served in the Air Force, and my daughter's boyfriend just came out of boot camp. Troy. Pretty much, it's a lot of people I can name, but salute to all the veterans. May God bless you.
All right, we got to wrap this puppy up, but good brothers, thank you for your service. Thank you for your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you
your
for the
brain
time with
reach.
us, and we're gonna bring part 2 back.
Okay, we got to come back for part 2.
Dwayne Lee and his son in the Navy, and his wife in the Navy.
All right, settle down, because I got some closing announcements. The